Today I'm going to do a full walkthrough of a multicam shoot for a live panel discussion here at my local library. I'm going to take you through the whole process from setup, shooting, and editing and delivering to the client. After I talked to the client, figured out that she wanted front of house sound and a video recording of the meeting. So we're going to get set up in there in just a minute. I have a camera guy coming, his name is Juan, and my sound guy coming, his name is Randy. So the first thing we're gonna do here is load in. Not that much gear, it's actually not as much as you would think because the sound guy is bringing a bunch of stuff as well. So we got everything on the carts. Just need to get access to the room, start setting up. We've got about an hour and 15 minutes to set up. The setup was very quick. We had about an hour to get it going, which is the minimum that I'd recommend for a project like this. We were scrambling a little bit. Setup is 4 cameras. We set up 5 microphones on the table up there. Sound system is an analog board. Randy's just running that thing old school, nothing digital going on there. He's sending a feed back to my mixer in the back, and then I'm recording that. And I'm sending that over to the news cameras. There's a couple news cameras here and they wanted a feed. So the system that we're using to make sure all the cameras stay in sync is Tentacle. All of this gets synchronized in Final Cut, and I'll show you that when we get to the editing. This is your side, right?
Is that the nail on the plug?
Yeah. Okay, so here's one speaker wire.
Just take this whole case. It's got stands and bases.
So we've got a snake coming from sound over here. We're just gonna set up a tabletop stand at each position. So we'll have 5 microphones up here. Electro Voice RE50s is what we have here. Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 5, mic 5, check 1 2. Microphone check, 1 2 1 2. Hello, hello, hello. The feed to me is just gonna be to my mixer. Are you with news? Someone with news? Yes? I get your feed. It'll be line level. Getting my mixer turned on here. Okay, you should have tone. Got my tentacle sync. So there's all my tentacles. Synchronize 2997. And then 45 on the white balance. Juan's doing a great job on camera. He's one of my best friends and he is awesome on camera. Randy is just a seasoned veteran on audio. They're doing a fantastic job in there.
But let's take a deeper dive with single family home rentals. According to the city of Fishers, there's 2,522. The study that we talked about, this housing study, did recommend back in 2022, a rental registration program. The rental permit cap is permitted only if your neighborhood has less than a 10% total in the neighborhood. If this ordinance passes, the effective date is January 1st, 2026.
Camera 1 is always the wide camera in the back, and I like to make sure that that just gets the widest view possible of the whole thing. Then angle number 2 is the close follow. So that's the operated camera that Juan is using to follow along with the action. Camera 3 is more of a medium follow. That doesn't move as much. That's doing more safe shots of the whole panel. And then camera 4 is the reverse angle. The reverse angle is honestly the angle we don't use as much, but it's there because I always like to set up a reverse to catch things that might be happening with the audience.
If you look at the homes that already have 10% rentals, those are the affordable neighborhoods in Fishers. In the last 6 years, the rental rates increased 35.9%, which is pretty close to the national average. Bureaucrats did not adjust the rate proportionally, and everybody, whether you're a homeowner or a property owner, you have to pay property taxes. And I don't know if you're all aware, if you own a rental property, you cannot file a homestead exemption, so your real estate taxes are double.
All right, so that's a wrap. Next thing we're doing here is we're gonna be breaking everything down. How'd that go, Juan?
Honestly, quite boring.
Government meeting. Nice, exciting, riveting content, right? We're wrapped and we're going to be packing everything up and getting out of here. Usually the wrap up is a lot quicker than the setup. I'd say that was a successful event. Everything went as planned. There was just a little bit of a rush there getting set up, but everything went great. It's getting all this put back where it belongs because Randy and I are going to be on to another job where we need all this. So it's very important when you're striking to put everything back exactly where it belongs. Don't get too much of a rush to strike everything that you put stuff all over the place. I didn't even know I was going to be here tonight, but video production moves quick and you just got to be ready to go. It is impossible in this business to own everything that you need to get these projects done. You have to rely on other people. You need to know people and you need to utilize your network. Because Randy has all this PA stuff. I don't have all this PA stuff. Juan is a guy I've worked with for 8 years, and he just knows what to do when we get on these jobs. Stage is clear.
One of these days I'll give you guys a tour of this little Honda Fit that I use for all my production. One of these days I'll give you a tour. That was a great shoot. Editing should be a breeze, but we will see you in the edit.
I've copied all of the data over to my computer. I've got Final Cut ready. I've got Tentacle Sync Studio ready, so let's get into it. We've got the full card data for every one of these cards. And then I got the slides from her. You can see that she gave me a PNG export of all the slides out of PowerPoint, so that's good. So what do we need to do from here? Well, the reason I have Tentacle Sync Studio open is because these files right here, if you take a listen to them, on the left channel, you can hear some pretty nasty buzz, right? It sounds like a buzz, it sounds like it's a mistake, but that is the sound of audio timecode. You can see that's on both of these files, and it's just on the left track. So on the left track, we have audio timecode. On the right track, we have a reference microphone, all right? So we use Tentacle Sync Studio, and Tentacle Sync Studio is free. It's made by Tentacle. You can download it from their website. It's totally free. And here's how it works. We take these QuickTime files that were created. Again, these are cameras 1 and 4. These are from my Panasonic S5s. And the reason why they have audio timecode on them is because they don't have timecode input ports. They just have audio ports. So I got to send audio timecode into them. If you look here in Tentacle Sync Studio, you can see that you have audio timecode on both of these on channel 1, okay, which matches up. So all we're going to do is we're going to grab both of these files and we are going to say create some media. We're going to export. And what we're going to do is we're going to choose our output folder first. So we're going to go to the right place. We're going to go to our raw media. I create a timecode conversion folder where I'm going to dump these files. We're going to say original media with embedded timecode. We're going to say pass through original on video, pass through original on audio. All right. We're doing that because we're not wanting to transcode the files. We don't want to process new files. All this pass through is going to do is it's going to take both the files and it's going to take the audio timecode from track 1 and it's going to create a linear timecode on the files, which is not sound based. It's linear. It's baked into the file. That doesn't take very long. I mean, I think these files are about an hour and 20 minutes each. All right, so it finished that conversion process. And now inside my timecode conversion folder, you see I have 2 QuickTime files. And these QuickTime files don't have the audio timecode on them. You can listen here. It's just the reference audio. And you can see right here in the file data that it has converted that audio timecode to file timecode. So now we're going to go over to Final Cut and we're going to import this media. So I'm just going to click on the top level folder
for the DVX and the UX. And I'm going to click the top level folder for the audio. I'm going to click the file level for these two QuickTimes that we created with Tentacle Studio. We're going to say import, and you're going to see that the files are imported. So these two files are from the DVX camera. It created two files because it does tend to break up files into multiple bits. This is from the UX 180 camera. It does create one file normally. This is the audio from my MixPre, and then these are the two S5 angles. Okay? The S5 angles are V-log, so we're going to quickly change those over here in the info panel. We're going to go into our, make sure you're in the general settings, not basic. So you want to be in general. And then you go over to camera LUT, and you can select that these are Panasonic V-log. All right, changes that to Rec 709, so that's good. Then we're going to do the metadata on these angles. The metadata is very important. We're going to come into the camera angle and we're going to change the names. So this is going to be cam 3. This is going to be cam 2. Then the audio file is going to be tagged with audio. Then this is going to be cam 4. And this guy is going to be cam 1. If we look at the audio track, you can see that we have track 1, which was my main mix track. Looks like I rolled an empty track on accident. So we're going to do some audio rolls on this, and you'll see how these audio rolls come into play a little bit later. You'll see that the default set of audio rolls are dialogue, effects, and music. We're going to create some custom rolls. So I'm going to say add roll. And I'm going to call this mix. All right. And then I'm going to assign, sorry, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to assign this to be mix. And I don't need to do anything with this dialogue track because I'm not going to use it. I usually leave tracks that I don't want to do anything with. I leave them blue. Grab all these angles and we're going to say new multicam clip. Call this rent cap discussion. Make it 1080. We're going to use camera angle as the angle assembly because remember we did apply metadata to the angles. We're going to use content created as ordering. That's fine. Angle synchronization is going to be on timecode because we ran timecode into all of our sources. All right. We don't need to use audio for synchronization. And I like to make sure that my rendering is LT. Don't want to take up extra space if I don't have to. Normally, if you're synchronizing on audio, it takes a while. But if you're synchronizing on timecode, this is quick. So we hit OK. And notice how that is really fast. Open that up. You can see that it organized my thing in audio, camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, camera 4. Organized it just as I would expect. So we're going to come over here. We're going to take our audio track, put it down at the bottom. And then we're just going to do a quick synchronization check. I'm going to pull up camera 2 on a close-up. And I'm just going to look at these lips and see if it is synchronized.
Everybody has to own a home, or everybody has to live in a...
Okay. Then I'm going to pull up my angle viewer, which I go window, view, show and viewer angles. Close down my browser over there. Close down my inspector. Don't need it right now. And I am just going to be looking at these angles. I'm looking at all of these angles just to see. I'm going to be watching her to see if it's in sync.
And give your hot take.
Yeah, her hand is moving.
Would you like to? And if there's anyone else.
thriving community. So
Just
from our
skimming
perspective,
through this.
then
That's a great question.
Yep. We're in sync. Okay. Cool. So then go back to my browser. I'm going to right click on this multicam clip and I'm going to say new project. I'm going to call this rent
cap, edit, just for now. Keep all that the same. It picks up all this automatically from my multicam clip. Hit OK. Open this up. You can see that this drops the multicam clip right in the sequence. Again, turn off my browser so I can see it full screen. All right, so we got that. Now I'm just going to find the beginning and the end. That's what I like to do. Just a zoom with a Control plus, Control minus is how I do that. I'm thinking the beginning of this somewhere around here. Control plus, plus, plus. Delete. Now I'm going to play in double speed. You're going to see that I play in double speed a lot. Double speed is a matter of hitting play with the L button and then hitting it again to double play it. I edit in double speed all the time. Speeds me up a lot. Hitting out, O for out point.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. That'll help us. The no-card system will help us identify hopefully most popular questions.
Okay,
So we're
just
sure we have
waiting
this
to try to find the intro. That might be it. I'm going to hit a delete because I think I'm close. And in the meantime, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make sure that my waveforms are bigger so I can see what's happening here.
Go ahead and get started. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started.
All right, so that's where I want to start. I want to start right where she says her name. Press an out point, hit delete.
My name is Jocelyn Vare, and I'm very happy that you're...
All right. First, what I want to do is I'm going to come over to my index and I'm going to turn on rolls, turn on sub rolls so I can see, so I can separate my audio and video. And I'm going to go to the end.
Just thank you for your time tonight.
Okay, that's my end. Delete that. Now I'm just going to do a quick audio leveling thing. Not very complicated, but just bring up this audio level a little bit. Go over here, hit Option, click to create a keyframe. Option, click again to create another keyframe. Bring that up. Then I'm going to balance that out a little bit. Okay. All right. Then what I like to do is I like to add a compressor. So I come over here to audio, go to levels. Levels right there. Click on a compressor. I like to add a compressor to all my dialogue parts. Again, I just use the default to start off until I decide that I want to change it. But so I'll start with the default settings. So let's just hear what it sounds like with a compressor and without a compressor. Okay? So I'm going to select that. I'm going to turn the compressor off. Compressor's off.
For this is the City of Fishers back in 2022 contracted with
Okay. Then I'm going to turn the compressor on.
with an outside consultant and created a very robust housing study. I was on the city council at that time, and it is an
So you can see it just raises the levels, flattens out some of the peaks. Then I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to raise the overall level just a tad more. Come over here, just raise it just a little bit more. Maybe to -3. Okay. And then one of the other things I like to do to all my dialogue tracks is I like to add voice isolation. So let's just pick an area where you can hear the voice.
say hello, and we'd love your hot take as well.
Find a better spot right here.
The mayor recently spoke at his State of the City about how the city has,
So that's without voice isolation. And then just turn on voice isolation, and that's what it's on. And we'll hear the difference.
that if properly enforced, could address a lot of these. The mayor recently spoke at his State of
So
the City.
it helps. It makes a big difference in my opinion. Then what I like to do is detach the audio. I like to detach the audio because when I start doing multicam cuts, then the multicam cuts won't mess with the audio. Then I'm going to take these slides, I'm going to shift click them all, drag them down into my presentation. Okay? I'm just putting them there right now as a placeholder. Turn off my browser again. Make my timeline a little bigger.
And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to listen at the beginning of this edit. I'm just going to listen for where I want my first welcome slide to be.
My name is Jocelyn Vare, and I'm very happy that you're here today. Thank you very much. I am a former city councilor here in Fishers, and I'm always very motivated to.
So what I'm looking for is when this guy is done being in my frame. So he walks across once, then he walks across again. I'm waiting for him to be clear. Right about there, okay? So that's where I want my opening graphic. Pull that over. Then I'm just gonna hit play and I'm gonna listen and I'm gonna feel about how long it needs to be up.
I'm always very motivated to help citizens be informed and have their voice heard when big and little decisions are made in our city. So thank you for being here. The purpose of our gathering today is to share information, get some questions answered, and help all of you have your voice heard.
Cool. Now I'm gonna listen. Let's see here. Okay, the next slide is welcome agenda. So I'm gonna be listening here for when she talks about the agenda.
Communities. So
Double speed again. I'm gonna play in double speed.
your time tonight. Here's our agenda for this evening. After my little welcome.
Okay. So that's where she talks about the agenda. Again, I'm just gonna play it in double speed and listen to her.
Here's our agenda for this evening. After my little welcome, I'm going to share a few slides about the current housing status in Fishers. That gives us all just a level playing field about kind of where we are right now and where we anticipate the housing market going. Then we'll speak specifically about the proposed ordinance, and we have that language from the City of Fishers to share with you. And then we'll have our panel discussion and our Q&A. So that's where your note cards are going to come in handy. So as we move on, let's please feel free to write your questions, and then we'll collect those and
Seems about right.
to help us answer those questions. We'll also be capturing feedback, ideas, suggestions, and questions to share with the City of Fishers too. And I'll share with you how you can have your voice heard as well. And the next steps, we'll share what are the kind of sequence of events as the ordinance moves through the legislative process with the City Council. So without any further ado, let me move forward with our.
Okay, so that's where the next slide goes. Pull that back.
With our welcome. So again, our purpose today is just inform. We're going to be very fact-based.
Gonna be listening.
Several citizens in our community have done some great research, gathering data so that it can be presented to you, so you can learn a little bit more about not only the housing market, but the impact of the proposed ordinance. We welcome all different perspectives. We're here to share feedback and ideas. And again, next steps so you know how to get involved.
So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and I'm going to be listening to all of these different points. And I'm just going to be sequencing all these slides into the right order. After I do all that, then I'm going to start messing with my angles. Okay. So I do want this project to start with a
My name is Jocelyn
wide shot.
Vare, and I'm very
And then
happy
again,
that
I'm
you're
waiting
here
for this
today.
guy
Thank
to
you
be
very
finished
much.
walking through the shot.
am a former city councilor here in Fishers.
And boom,
I'm
right there.
always very motivated to help citizens be informed and have their voice heard when big decisions.
Okay, cool. I don't really need to start cutting more angles until we get to this point, after she does her intro. So underneath this last slide, I'm just going to cut to a wide, knowing that
What I would like to do is
I'm going to cut to this panel discussion shot.
shared, allow each of our panelists, if you
Okay.
would, each of you, and Megan, maybe if we could start with you.
Waiting for the close-up.
And also, how about just like your hot take on this ordinance? Thank you, thank you. Quick introduction and a hot take
Double speed.
of what you see with this ordinance from your perspective. So Megan, I'll let you start.
Hey everyone, my name is Megan Wise, and I have been a loving member of Fishers in the community for a very long time, first as a citizen, and then I've been
Okay, there we go. Click into the close-up.
selling real estate as a residential.
And I'm just going to surf forward to where she comes in. Towards the end of her
So much
comments, I'm
equity
going to
that
cut
has
to the
been
wide.
built over the years due to our fast appreciation in the city. And so what can we do as homeowners to keep the money in Fishers and grow Fishers more?
Cut
And
to our
that's where
panel.
what my point being here would be today is to make sure that we're all protected and
Double
continue to watch the city
speed.
grow.
Sorry to follow. My name is Andrea Davis. I'm the executive director of Hand Incorporated, which is a nonprofit based in Noblesville.
right.
We are Hamilton County's affordable
Click
housing
on
developer. We build affordable
Close
rental.
up. The only thing that you might do in addition is you might add some color. And the color I do at the root multicam level. And the main angle that I can see that's needing some work is her angle is a little dark. Okay. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to double click, which takes me into the angle editor. In this view, I might shrink this down a little so I can see everything. Okay, cool. So then to make a color change, it's pretty simple. I'm gonna always have my scopes. So I'm gonna open up my video scopes instead of my angles. And then I'm gonna hit Command 6, which opens up the color wheels. And I'm just looking at the Luma waveform here. I'm just gonna bring that up. Bring up the midtones. Take down the shadows again. Looking a little better. And I'm just gonna spot check my other angles. This angle probably needs a little bit of shadow reduction. Not a lot here. Again, V-Log is amazing for getting a good dynamic range going. Okay. Then this angle might just need a little bit of mid-tone increase. And then the last V-Log angle, which is angle 4. Scan through it a little bit. Definitely bring the shadows down a little bit on that. Bring up your highlights. Bring up your mids. So you can see all my angles are cut. Everything is timed out. I went through and did audio, keyframes at different points just to bring things up a little bit, down a little bit. Again, nothing major, nothing super complex. So I'll put the file in Dropbox for her so she can upload it to YouTube and she can be ready to go. I hope you enjoyed looking at this process from start to finish. I hope it was helpful for you to see what it was like on set all the way through to the edit. Again, these tentacles are pretty fantastic. If you can't tell, these are a really critical point of gear when you're doing multicam. You can buy them and get different adapters for them for the different cameras. So this is SDI for my DVX and my UX because those have BNC connections for timecode. And then this is what I use for my Panasonic S5s. They just take a mini jack. So I come off of this, go straight into the mic port. Then you use the app on your phone to synchronize these to the same timecode. And then you get them all plugged into the cameras, get them jammed. And this is also what I use to go into my mix pre. My mix pre has a BNC input. So I put this into the mix pre and then I jam sync it right into the mix pre so that everything is on the same timecode. And you can see how that is extremely important. Again, you can do this, all of this editing in Final Cut, Premiere, DaVinci, whatever you want to do. I like to use Final Cut. I've been using Final Cut for a long time. I'm really fast at it. As an editor, I can also do Premiere and DaVinci. So I think as an editor, you should know all three. But for this case, I'm the fastest with Final Cut. Plus, I think Final Cut tends to be one of the best suited for multicam workflow. I just think it's one of the easiest ways to get it done. And again, thanks for watching this far. I'm going to try to be doing a few more of these kinds of videos in the future where I take you all the way through the process from start to finish. I've also got a lot of behind the scenes content from my different shoots that I do. And I've been having a lot of fun putting together these videos for you guys. I really do appreciate you watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment and let me know what you think. Have a good day.